Well, Piers Pigou is the head of the South Africa program for the Institute for Security Studies and joins us from Pretoria. Welcome to the program. So how would you describe Mnangagwa's first term and what are you expecting in these elections?
Well, for many people, President Mnangagwa's first term has been a disappointment. A series of promises and undertakings made following the coup d'etat in November 2017 have not come to fruition. And so the second administration, as Mnangagwa's government has been coined, the Second Republic, has really failed to deliver in many, many ways for the vast majority of Zimbabweans, and has not provided the foundation that was expected for a reform, re-engagement and recovery. Now, when it comes to the elections, there's a widespread sense that the elections will not be a gateway to the promised land, that it will not provide the foundation for a sustainable solution in Zimbabwe, and that something beyond an election is required because, you know, elections are polarizing events. It's very unlikely that President Mnangagwa is going to play a role as a national president, as he promised to do in 2018, and then effectively set off on a course which has been quite polarizing and exclusive.
Okay.
What do we expect from the elections? A relatively peaceful day, but it does seem that there are a number of problems already, as we've heard, around logistics. I wouldn't expect too much from the elections. It's really what happens after the elections in terms of the count and so forth that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on.
That's an important point you raised there, Piers. And excuse me. And if Nelson Chamisa does win, he says he's powered by the Almighty, what would he bring to Zimbabwe?
Well, I mean, he's offering a new vision. The election manifesto that the Citizens Coalition for Change released a couple of weeks ago includes a lot of the detail that we saw in their 2018 manifesto, but a series of very sharp commitments in their first 100 days in office. I mean, these are all, you know, it sounds very nice on paper. The reality, though, is that even if the Triple C win, there's a very big question as to whether there would be a transfer of power. This has never happened in independent Zimbabwe, a transfer of power. And even though the opposition have won in previous polls. So there's many folk out there who are not convinced that that they will be allowed to win, even if the popular vote appeared to go their way. But what's going to be very interesting is to see how consolidated the Triple C's efforts are to, quote unquote, defend the vote, which means getting good, accurate records of all the V11s. These are the results that will be
so Piers, so let's talk about what happens after, because you mentioned that will be a key area to focus on. How do you think that's going to go?
I think it's likely that whatever result we see will be challenged in court. Most Zimbabwean elections are, quote unquote, resolved by the courts rather than the Electoral Commission. They're mostly contested. And the courts appear to be leaning heavily in favor of Zanu PF in the most part, and we've seen that previously. So the fear is that we'll have some kind of deja vu to 2018, where the court throws out an opposition appeal and the opposition say they don't recognize the government, and we're sort of kind of stuck in this halfway house land of having no real space for moving forward for a national dialogue or any of these issues, and a contested space around legitimacy. So there is a concern that we are going to be back to the same trajectory of a sort of kind of slow downward spiral in the realities of and the lives of most Zimbabweans.
All right. Piers Pigou, thank you so much for speaking to us today, live there from Pretoria. Thank you.
Thank you.